fuckers, fuckettes, and every fucking body else, and welcome to the Scrubcast. That's the Scrubhouse Video Club podcast. I'm your host, Locat. You can call me Audrey because we're friends. And with me, of course,
I'm the birthday boy.
You're the birthday boy. We are currently filming this on his birthday.
This is Skunk's birthday. I am 34 years old.
I wouldn't say old or young. I'd say medium. You're 34
I'm
years medium.
34 years aged.
There you go. That'd be one hell of a steak.
I'm 34
Kind of a shitty wine, though.
I'm 34 years expired.
Ooh.
That's
That
some
explains
bad.
that smell.
That's a bad
Anyway.
note. Yeah. Dude, when we were having to move, okay, so just to give everybody some context about what I'm talking about, I had to move a semi-truck the other day. It took us like several days to move this fucking Freightliner. It was a nightmare. I've got sunburns on both my shoulders because of this shit. This one more than the other because this was the arm that was hanging out the window when I was driving the car because I had to follow my dad in the semi. Anyway, I realized about halfway through, like the third or fourth day, my fucking deodorant expired and didn't work anymore because I was just like, something smells funky. It's me. I fucking stank. Because my fucking deodorant's expired and the antiperspirant stopped working and I just started smelling like ass.
You know, I've never had deodorant so long that it's expired. That's a very skunk rocker thing. So I'm alright with that.
I buy the cheap shit and you buy the good shit.
Yeah, I do.
You buy the good shit. You
I always smell like hard candy and shit.
You spend money on your deodorant. I bought fucking like the dollar brand. That's why my deodorant failed.
So why don't you go ahead and fill them in on what this week was?
This week was films that inspired the Silent Hill franchise.
Or were inspired by. Because
technically The Mist is in that really weird area where the book inspired the games, but the film was inspired by the games. It's very strange. But the other films all came out before the games existed. And this is the films. The reason why these films were on this weekend was because it was my birthday, and I wanted to do something special for my birthday weekend, and decided that, you know what, I'm going to do something weird and go with these Silent Hill movies because I love Silent Hill. Silent Hill was a franchise that I really fell in love with and I really liked. I remember. I remember the first time I ever played the first Silent Hill. It was such a great game, and I was captivated the entire time. I remember when I first found out about it. It was on what was that? It was before it was X Play. It was something else with Adam Sessler on.
It was just called Extended Play. They like changed the name of it, but yeah. It's whenever it was actually standard G4, or was it G4 Tech TV?
No, it was Tech TV back then. Yeah. And then, well, no, wait, it was Ziff Davis Television.
Yeah.
It was Ziff Davis Television, then Tech TV, then G4.
Well, G4 was its own thing, and then it merged with Tech TV.
Yeah.
And then they got rid of Leo Laporte, and I stopped caring.
Pretty much. I remember the one thing about it was, I believe at the time period, Extended Play was Tech TV when the episode about Silent Hill came out. And all they did was show the opening cinematic, and I was like, I'm fucking down. I gotta know what this game is about. I'm so, right? And so I finally got a copy of it, played it, couldn't stop playing it. This was one of the first games that after I beat it, I'm like, I gotta play it again. Because I already knew about the alternate ending, so I'm like, I gotta get every ending. I ended up playing that game. I got every single ending. I got the fucking UFO ending. I unlocked all of the secrets. Like, and then I got a PlayStation 2, and oh my god, Silent Hill 2, I gotta play it. Silent Hill 3, I gotta play it. Silent Hill 4, I gotta play it. Origins, I've gotta play it. And then Origins sucked.
And you ended up playing Homecoming and Downpour, didn't you?
I've played every single Silent Hill game. Yeah. I would say out of the Western, quote-unquote Western developed Silent Hill games, Downpour is the best, and it's still shit.
Yeah, it's a bunch of running away, and like it's weird. So before we even get into the films, disclaimer, we have differing opinions on what our favorite Silent Hill game is. Um,
Well, yeah, let's talk about that real quick, though.
yeah.
What's your favorite Silent Hill game?
It's three. It's three. It's a continuation of one that talks more about the cult and things like that. And I feel like it has my favorite storytelling of any Silent Hill game. The gameplay is still the exact same gameplay pretty much from Silent Hill 2.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that very solid gameplay along with more of what originally drew me into Silent Hill anyway, which was the story. I feel like Silent Hill 2, it's its own thing. It's fine. It's a good game. It's kind of overrated in my opinion because it's kind of its own standalone thing, but in that situation I can understand why people like it, and that's the one that a lot of people started with, because a lot of people didn't want to read a lot whenever they had a PlayStation. So
There's a lot of rating in Silent Hill 2,
yeah.
for sure. My big thing with Silent Hill 2 has always been that, like, it does get away from the cult. And I know Yahtzee says, like, the most interesting character is the town itself. Like, fuck the stupid cult business. When you put a human face to something, you know, I'm like, I understand that, but when you don't have a human face to something, it becomes intangible.
Yeah.
And when it's intangible, it's not fun. And I want fun. Okay, if I really want to be fucking scared by something, you know, I won't put a human face to it. Won't have a human face to it. It'll be something that's absolutely terrifying. Final Destination notwithstanding, because that's ridiculous. But
as much as he's a terrible racist, I love H.P. Lovecraft's work.
exactly.
And a lot of his stuff is cosmic horror, and the whole idea of cosmic horror is horror doesn't have a phase. It's our insignificance, you know, and that's the kind of thing that scares me. So
I like the idea of the cult because when you put purpose behind something, when there's a human element to it, it's more fun. It may not be as scary. It's more fun because
the cult is very unpredictable, based around like what you would expect them to be, which also helps out a lot. It's just real good. It's just real fucking good.
Now my favorite is Silent Hill 4.
Which is a stark departure from the other games, but it's at the same time, it's more of a claustrophobic experience. It's also, and I have to say this, the controls in the apartment are fucking atrocious, but you get used to them. That frustration kind of seems purposeful at times.
It's great. I like it. I remember the first time I was trying to get around the apartment. It was fucking frustrating. By the end of the game, I fucking mastered that shit. I would say Silent Hill 4, outside of the Western developed Silent Hill games, we're talking about just the Japanese developed, just the original Team Silent stuff. Silent Hill 4 has the absolute worst gameplay. I mean, it's still fucking, you know, buttered toast. It's not shit on a shingle, but it's, you know, it's still great, but it's the worst out of all of them. And, you know, coming in 4th place in a competition in, like, the Olympics is still awesome. You were in the Olympics, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe you didn't get the fucking bronze medal, but you still were in the Olympics. That means something, you know?
Yeah, but if you ain't first, you're last.
Okay, Ricky Bobby. That being
that don't
said...
even make sense. You could be second, you could be third, fuck, you could even be fourth.
That being said... The biggest thing about Silent Hill 4 to me is I feel Silent Hill 4 has the best story. It's got so much story. It's great.
And it doesn't have any corn on the soundtrack, so that also helps.
That's a good point, yeah. Oh, God, I hated the soundtrack to that one. At least the other Western developed Silent Hill games had a Kiriyama Oka, and I was like, at least the soundtrack's good.
Yeah, I
would say story-wise, by the way, the best Western developed Silent Hill game is Shattered Memories.
Yeah.
But that's also, that storyline is also just Jacob's Ladder. Basically.
Pretty much.
It's like reverse Jacob's Ladder.
Which is a weird thing that we didn't end up watching.
We didn't end up watching Jacob's Ladder. We ended up watching Phantoms. And the first film we're going to talk about, Paperhouse.
We're already almost 10 minutes in, so let's go ahead and start talking about that movie.
Paperhouse is a British film based off of a book, Marianne Dreams? Marianne Dreams. It's based off the book Marianne Dreams by Catherine Storr. It's a 1988 dark fantasy film, according to Wikipedia. I saw this film when I was a kid, and it fucked me up.
I'd never seen it.
I fucking loved this movie when I saw it. I was like, holy shit, this is some This is some Nightmare on Elm Street shit. I love it. It's great. The whole entire...
And you should check out that TV series that apparently the original novel is the basis for.
I've read that. Yeah, Escape into the Night. I've got to check that out. It's from the 70s, though. And
it's probably going to be trippy, though. Like,
I don't know. Some things from the 70s kind of suck.
But a lot of things from the 70s are trippy as hell. Let's be fair.
It's true. Thinking about next week now. Which I shouldn't be. Paperhouse, though, 1988 film. The basic premise of the film is a little girl, she's about 11 years old, has to stay home from school. She pretends, mind you, pretends that she's faking her illness because she's trying to just get out of school because she has a bully and she wants to go take writing lessons or something.
Yes.
But she actually does have an illness. She actually has mono.
This is her birthday as well.
It's her birthday, yes. And
that's something you and her have in common.
Oh, it's my birthday. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. I don't have mono though. I just have coronavirus.
You don't have coronavirus. Let's not make jokes about that. I don't feel well, and I also don't have the Rona. So
no. You and I both have the same affliction. So, right now.
Stupidity. Exactly.
Yeah. Oh well, I was gonna say alcoholism, but whatever. Same thing.
I don't have alcoholism, man.
That's right. You stopped drinking. I forgot about that. I'm still drinking. I got Miller Lite. And
I don't even have water, man. That's how much I stopped drinking. I should have thought about that before I started recording. This could be a fun episode.
But yeah. So she has. That fucked me up. She has mono, and all she can do is sit at home and draw in her sketchbook. She has a sketchbook. She draws in it with a little charcoal marker. Like,
she's not a great artist. She's a child artist.
Yeah.
So everything is like distorted looking and weird, which leads into a lot of the style of this film.
And so she draws this house with a yard and a fence and some rocks. And then she falls asleep. And she's there. And we realize very quickly, anything she draws in this book becomes real in her dreams. The fever dreams that she's having because she has glandular fever.
And, I mean, in this situation, let's not get into the whole plot, right? Let's just condense it as much as we possibly can because we have things to say.
There really isn't a whole lot of plot to the film either. I mean, she draws a little boy, but the little boy's sad because she drew him sad because she's a bad artist. And then she figures out
you can't erase.
She can't erase anything. Yeah, she can't erase anything. It's a magical charcoal marker pencil thing. Or the book is magical or something, so she can't erase anything.
It's specifically the pencil because it's the reason that later on she brings just the pencil with her.
It's
for
true.
Him to draw the helicopter. It has to, and it's like really small by that point. They knew that it was almost dead, so that was like a whole plot point. So it's clearly the charcoal.
It was the way she drew it in the thing is why it was small, but it was also the like, hey, this is the end of the story, so the pencil should be tiny. She draws the interior of the house, but again, she's a bad artist. So like at one point she tries to draw a radio, and it's imagine that it's supposed to be a little radio just sitting on the floor, but it turns out to be like a gigantic boombox embedded in the fucking wall.
It looks like Conky from fucking Pee-wee's Playhouse.
It really does.
I brought this up to everybody.
It really fucking does.
It really looks like Conky from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
And I honestly want a boombox that when I fucking turn it on, it just can light up a room by itself. Because that fucking thing had some LEDs in it. Yeah. She also decides that because she never gets to see her father, because he's always away on business, she's going to draw him in as well. But she draws him angry. And she doesn't mean to, and she can't erase it, so she freaks out and just starts fucking scribbling all over the whole entire drawing. And that's when the movie goes from being like, oh, it's a fun, crazy fantasy film with, it's children, fantasy, dark film, she goes to this fucking place and it's kind of dark and cold, but that's because it's a drawing on paper made with charcoal. And then she does that, And this fucking turns into Silent Hill real fucking quick because the house is now distorted. Everything's destroyed.
Well, everything was already distorted. It's just everything is getting
It's
really dirty and moldy.
It's more distorted. It's nasty. It's got fucking garbage in it. Everything's fine. And there's her father. And this is the scene. This is the scene from this film. Her father is now standing at the fucking horizon in the darkness, and you can't see him.
I love the fact that like he calls out to her, and she fucking forgets or something that like she had scribbled his face out, and how it works. So she's just like, Papa, come in, Papa. And he comes walking up to the house with
the
that
kid's freaking
hammer.
out. The other kid's freaking. The legless kid is, or not legless. His legs don't work. But the kid who doesn't have any, whose legs don't work, he's like paralyzed from the waist down in the story.
Mark. Yeah, Mark.
He starts freaking out. He's like, do not let him in. Do not let him in.
So Mark was set up earlier because the nurse was just like, I know a kid who can't get out of bed.
Yeah.
And she was just like, well, I wish I never would get out of bed. And the nurse was just like, well, you two would get along. And then she was like, no, we wouldn't. I hate boys.
Yeah,
and that's how
like
Mark
best
ends
friends.
up in her fucking fever dreams.
But she drew him in, and he just all like, well, she shows up, and he's upstairs, and she's all like, let me in. He's like, I can't. She's like, why? And there's no stairs. Because she didn't draw in the stairs yet. Which I thought was that's a really good plot point. But no, like, he's freaking out. He's like, do not let him in. Do not let him in. You let him in. Like, all hell is going to break loose.
We can ride the bike.
So when he shows up, he's got a fucking hammer. She did not draw him with a hammer. I don't know where he got a fucking hammer, but he's got a fucking carpenter hammer like it's fucking World of Horror, that fucking Junji Ito game on Steam, and he's just fucking smashing shit. Like he's trying to break the fucking door down with this carpenter hammer.
Speaking of World of Horror, which is a game that me and Skunk both enjoy, I have found that if you have Xbox Game Pass for PC, it's on that as well. So all of our viewers, if you wish to play World of Horror, that's a way that you can play it. It's also under $20 on Steam.
Yes.
So you can just buy it outright.
Join the Discord, download the custom stuff. Because I made
He does some good shit, man.
But anyway, it was, at this point, like, he's trying to fucking break the door down with this hammer, and we first get the first glimpse of his face, and his face is all fucked up. Like, talking about Silent Hill, remember the raw shocks in Silent Hill Shattered Memories, where their faces are all fucked up?
I vaguely remember Shattered Memories.
It's
I played it once.
very similar to that. Like, his face is fucking gnarly.
Did you play the Wii version of Shattered Memories?
Yes, I played the original Wii version. I did not play the PlayStation 2 version. I played the original Wii version, and it took me forever to get a copy of it. I remember that. I had to borrow it from somebody in order to play it.
It's really weird that like it has so much to do with like ice and stuff. I thought it was an okay game. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't have too many problems with Shattered Memories. I think it's a good story. It should be a standalone. It kind of plays off like it's a remake of the first Silent Hill, and it's also not at the same time. And I like to think of it as a not situation.
It's sort of like the little Puppet Master, the Littlest Reich, the one I watched recently. Where it's like, this is an alternate universe.
Should write a review about that movie.
Maybe. But
put it in the comments if you want to see Skunk write a review for Puppet Master.
You want to see me write a review about the thing that should not be.
It's a pretty good Metallica song, to be fair. I could review that song 10 out of 10.
But yeah, he starts smashing fucking windows and shit. Like, this gets fucking terrifying. And this is the point where they're like, they figure out that like they could get rid of him if they could just burn the paper. She's asleep. She's fucking asleep and doing this shit and like she's like sleepwalking, burning shit. I'm like, I'm surprised she didn't burn the fucking house down. I'm surprised it didn't end.
I'm surprised Time Bandits didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Like Time Bandits, like the fucking house burns down. No, this is a fucking fantastic film, and the ending. Holy fuck, we're not going to give anything away on the ending. It takes forever to get to the ending, but when it happens, it's like one of those moments where you're just sitting there going like, what the fuck did I just see?
I disagree with the ending of this film. I absolutely agree with Gene Siskel's review of this movie.
Yeah, he said
Two
two
thirds of this
thirds of the
movie,
film is good, and then the last third just sucks.
I agree. I feel like they should have just left it this weird, like fever dreamy thing. Like the way that it ends tells too much, and it takes away from
Yeah,
it detracts from the story. And and
it's a
like I was
fucking
on
weird
board for
ending
this
though.
movie.
It
I
was
was
a
on board the entire time, and then
yeah.
the ending of this movie happened, and there were several other people in Video Club that also agree with Gene Siskel, and I mean my stance on it is this movie is a great movie. I just don't like the ending. It's still
Understand?
a great
I
movie. I'll
agree.
still watch it. It's one of those rare cases where like it has a bad ending, but it's still a great film.
If this
So I would still watch it again.
if this was an hour-long film, and I hate saying that because I hate hour-long films because they have no reason to exist. If this was just an hour-long film, it would have been good.
Yeah,
They could have
absolutely.
done. They could have done an additional 30 minutes of cool dream shit, right?
Mhm.
And it would have been if it ended where the logical ending.
Actually, I would
point,
have preferred that. I feel like there was a lack of that in like
Yeah.
in certain parts of the film because it was the style that was drawing me in.
Yeah.
It was all of the distorted shit. It was like there's even some good comedy in it. Whenever she tries to draw the boy the legs and like one of the foot she puts toes and one of it's like a club foot and then like she goes in there and it's
one of the
just on the
feet has
stairs.
toes.
And one of the feet
Yeah.
has toes, and then it just shatters because they're made of like fucking porcelain or some shit.
Yeah, it explodes
it's
like
great.
it explodes like a fucking Young Ones gag. I love it.
It's great. Like,
Fucking.
thank you, British movies. And I feel like that's probably the reason that I didn't know that this existed, right? Because this was this weird British movie that I didn't grow up knowing existed.
Yeah.
I mean, it is done by Bernard Rose, so I mean, you got the Candyman ties there. Like I had no idea that he was the same person whenever I watched this movie, but yeah, it's the guy who directed fucking Candyman. So you know that he's definitely
stylistically, it's fucking amazing. But
and
that
we have
last
this
that last
very-
third is very
Yeah.
fucking strange. It doesn't fit with the rest of the movie, but it's got a moment in it where it fucking clicks. So you realize what you're seeing, and you're just like, "Oh fuck, this movie just went there," and I love it. I love just that last little fucking second, right before the movie would have been a lot better if it ended with the. It would have been a lot better if it ended an hour in. It would have also been a lot better if it did go that extra 30 minutes, if it ended with fucking depression rather than hope. But
So this movie also I gotta bring up. It has a score by Hans Zimmer, and it doesn't fit the film at all. It doesn't fit the film at all, but because it doesn't fit the film, it makes it more eerie. Therefore, it fits the film. It's this weird dichotomy that shouldn't exist.
Hans Zimmer fucking scored this movie like it was the fucking soundtrack to Hotline Miami. It's synthwave as fuck. It's got tons of awesome fucking bass and just slamming fucking
there's
kick
also
drums.
like
It's
really
awesome.
big orchestral measures that like don't fit at times.
And they're fucking discordant. And it fucking rules. It's so good.
It just there's so much like the simplest thing could be going on in this music. It's just so loud and overtaking, and it's like it doesn't fit, and that makes it fit because it fits with the style of what's going on. And it is just this movie is a visual masterpiece in my mind. Like it's an absolute visual masterpiece. I just really wished it was written a little bit better. That's just all I have to say in this situation.
If it had just hit the logical conclusion point of like, oh hey, you're cured now, and oh by the way, that little boy, he's no longer with us, and that's the end of the movie, would have been fine. Mm-hmm. Instead of the movie going on for another 30 minutes about like, oh hey, daddy's okay, mommy's okay, I'm just a dipshit,
Yeah. So I mean, we're encroaching here. We've been talking about the film for about 15 minutes. So this is typically whenever we get into this situation where I ask you,
vote.
What do you feel? Is this a Scrubhouse film?
Definitely.
Yeah, I absolutely agree as well. I think it's a very Scrubhouse movie. The fact that I didn't know this movie existed right? And it is what it is. It kind of proves it's a Scrubhouse film because a lot of Scrubhouse films come out of nowhere. A lot of Scrubhouse films are things that we haven't seen. Like, yes, you had seen Paperhouse. You were literally the only fucking person who had seen Paperhouse, right? And that's fine. It appeared out of nowhere, and it made us all really interested. We were engaged with the film the entire time, and that might be because we're all fucking quarantined and no one's going anywhere. But we had a large turnout.
I just realized this had to do with a little girl that was being quarantined.
Yeah, well, it was a little bit different than that, but
I'm glad you brought it up because I mean it makes a good point.
Like we had a large turnout, and I can't say if it's for Skunk's birthday. I'd like to think it's for Skunk's birthday, but let's be honest here. Nobody had anything that they were going to go do on Friday night. So we watched the film, thoroughly enjoyed the film, and I would definitely say this is a Scrubhouse film. I wouldn't say it's best of Scrubhouse film, but I would say that it's absolutely a Scrubhouse film.
Yeah,
and I recommend it. I mean, what would you give this as a rating?
I'm gonna give it a B plus.
B plus.
B plus. It's not quite an A. It could have. If this movie, if this movie had just gone that little extra distance. Okay, let me put it this way.
It's going the distance.
If this
movie, going for speed.
If this movie went a little bit more American, it would have worked. It would have been an A fucking film, an A plus film even.
I mean, what do you mean by that? Like a little more Freddy Krueger, or
a little bit more Freddy Krueger, a little bit more Wishmaster, a little bit more Leprechaun with it, where like the last 30 minutes of the film could have been. She's being terrorized by her fucking father, just ripping through the fucking walls with that hammer and just going straight up like Jason Voorhees style. If that was, and she couldn't wake up because the glandular fevers fucked her up so bad that she can't get out of the situation. That would have been fucking cool. Remember the Absolutely. Nightmare on Elm Street remake where at the very end he was like, now you can't wake up because you've been up for too long that when you fall asleep you're trapped? That would have been... Because remember, she couldn't wake up at the very end until her mommy was just all like, oh my god, you set shit on fire, you know? That would have been the fucking... That would have been fucking cool if the last 30 minutes was her just trapped in this fucking world with it crumbling apart on her and not being able to fucking do anything. Stop holding that up. I saw it the first time. You moved your camera! Now you have to move it back.
There we go. We're good.
Okay, what rating do you give this film?
I would give it a B minus.
It's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, that's what the movie was about. Anyway, it's B minus. Absolutely. I feel as though it could have been a lot stronger. I feel like the ending absolutely is what puts it as low as what it does. If that ending wasn't tacked on, it would have been an A all day long.
Yeah.
All of that being said, I still fucking heavily recommend this crazy ass movie.
That's a great film.
Yeah, it's great. I'm interested. I want to check out that TV show as well. I like the idea of the world that it built. Yeah.
Look at my hair.
So with all that being said,
my hair is crazy today.
How about a word from our sponsors?
How about it? I still can't tell what's on the screen. It's just white for all of us. You're going to have to tell me.
I mean, this should be an obvious thing.
You're right, it is obvious.
You want to go ahead and explain that to people?
If you don't know, the Midwich Elementary School in the first Silent Hill, is actually based off of the school from Kindergarten Cop. And I don't mean it's based off of a location. There's been plenty of things out there that base that school, because that school is a very famous Hollywood school that's used in a lot of films. Yeah. No, I mean, they literally, like, the posters in the hallway and shit, even the medicine cabinet in the nurse's office, it's all shit that's based off of screenshots from that movie.
Yeah, so there's like drawings and stuff that were done by the kids in this movie that are like on like tack boards and shit. And so it's a weird thing. It didn't make it into this list because we were going for like the weird shit. But I mean,
it was no this fucking close to going on the list. If it wasn't for The Mist, it would have ended up being Kindergarten Cop. I'm not kidding. Yeah. But I really wanted to find some horror.
That gag was for you. Just
thank you. Fuck it. Audrey thinks I don't like Kindergarten Cop.
I do think that you don't really like Kindergarten Cop. We've had this discussion recently.
I like Kindergarten Cop. I just don't.
You said it wasn't a good movie.
It's not a good movie.
It is a good movie, legitimately.
That's why I like it. It's not a good movie.
You know what? If you want to see this on a list, leave it in the comments below, and then eventually we will get to the bottom of this.
What do you want? Right? What do you want to put on the list? Do you want to? I mean, leave on the comments below. What do you want in the comments below? Do you want me reviewing The Littlest Reich, or do you want Kindergarten Cop? Okay, both. You have two choices.
You have three choices. You could say both. And if we do Kindergarten Cop, then we might as well do Cop and a Half as well, and then I have a reason to talk about Burt Reynolds.
No. If we do Kindergarten Cop, it's got to be we could do Cop and a Half. We could do buddy cop movies that don't make any fucking sense. We could throw Turner and Hooch in there too if you want. We can have a fucking well, no, because we already got one dog movie. We have to find a different one. There's got to be Isn't there a movie where like what's that fucking the T-Rex film with Whoopi Goldberg.
Theodore Rex?
Yeah, there you go. And we just got to find one more unusual buddy cop movie that's not Showtime.
I'm going to request you not put this in the comments now because I don't want to have to watch Theodore Rex again.
We will not watch
if we watch Theodore Rex, we have to talk about like the weird lawsuit and the blackmailing of Whoopi Goldberg and all kinds of shit.
Remember, we've got something coming up in a couple of weeks, and we make it so we don't have to watch that fucking film. We just have to make sure everybody fucking votes right.
Anyway, well, let's go ahead and get... All right. So up next, we actually... I double voted.
Yeah, you really wanted to watch this fucking movie.
I fucking love this movie. This movie is very Lovecraftian. And the book... is also absolutely amazing. Of course, we're talking about 1998's Phantoms. Ooh.
Phantom.
This movie. Ben Affleck?
It's the bomb in Phantoms.
Yeah, that joke, Ben Affleck, you're the bomb in Phantoms, yo. It's true. This is probably my favorite Ben Affleck role, like out of all of them. He's just absolutely amazing. We have...
Wait, what?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh.
Yeah.
But Dogma.
I mean, he's good in Dogma. I like Phantoms more than I like Dogma.
I like Ben Affleck being a villain. It fucking works, and he should do it more often. I like Ben
Affleck in a fucking cowboy hat and a duster jacket. All right, like I want more of that.
I mean,
especially now that he's older? Like I want to see Ben Affleck play like a badass old cowboy man. Like that is my dream film.
The Quick and the Dead, but starring Ben Affleck.
No, more like
Tombstone.
More like Once Upon a Time in Mexico, but starring Ben Affleck instead of Charles Bronson.
Oh, instead of Charles Bronson.
Once Upon a Time in West. Sorry. Once Upon a Time in the West. Once Upon a Time in Mexico is that fucking weird Robert Rodriguez.
Yeah, I was going to say that's Johnny Depp.
Once Upon a Time in the West, but instead of Charles Bronson.
I just imagined three-armed fucking Ben Affleck, and that fucked me up. Yeah, so Phantoms. Dean Koontz wrote the book.
Yeah.
Dean Koontz is known for a few things. He's not as prolific as Stephen King. He's got a few things out there.
He's close. A lot of people
Well, I was gonna say Phantoms is his biggest film. It's his biggest book. It's his biggest film. It's the biggest thing that he has as a claim to fame. It is the biggest thing Dean Koontz has ever fucking done. This is his The Stand.
It might get a little bright on me here. Based on this, no, actually not. The biggest thing that he did was The Eyes of Darkness, and he also did Watchers.
Well, I still disagree on Watchers.
I think Phantoms ended up being a bigger movie.
Yeah, but like Phantoms is like, I mean, that's what everybody knows Dean Koontz for because of the movie.
Well, The Eyes of Darkness, like a lot of people say that like that's literally The Stand, because The Eyes of Darkness is another one of the movies that's like, did Dean Koontz predict the coronavirus? Just that same thing they're saying about The Stand with Stephen King. So literally, The Eyes of Darkness is Dean Koontz' The Stand.
I do want to point out.
It's his biggest movie.
Biggest book. I do want to point out real quick, by the way, that he also did Demon Seed, which I did not fucking know. Now he definitely is not known for that.
He's written some really weird shit. Like Dean Koontz is like Stephen King had sex with H.P. Lovecraft, and they had a really stupid baby. And that really stupid baby sometimes puts out some really good shit. I don't know.
I'm not gonna
There's
say
a lot of misses in Dean Koontz's library.
Demon Seed is not good shit. Do not watch Demon Seed. We're not even gonna talk about fucking Demon Seed.
But watch Watchers. Watchers is good. Fucking Phantoms is, again, this movie is amazing. So this movie is about like, this movie is hard to explain.
as far as things go, this is, outside of Jacob's Ladder, as close to a Silent Hill movie as you're gonna get. That
as a matter of fact,
Hill movie.
The first monster encounter you have in Silent Hill is Phantoms. Like the encounter, almost the scene in Phantoms.
Yeah,
because
we're gonna get to that
thing.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute.
So
the film actually starts with these two girls showing up, and the town is fucking deserted.
Yeah.
There's nobody there.
It's this weird town in Colorado that's just like, it used to be bustling and popular, and the community is just gone.
They show up, there's nobody fucking there. And the only people that they find that are left in the town are the cops. It starts out just like fucking Silent Hill. When you play the first Silent Hill game, it's just you're in an empty fucking town, you're looking for your daughter, and the only person you find for the first, hour and a half of that fucking game, the first person you find is a cop. It's fucking Silent Hill.
And then the thing happens. Right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the other thing, too. It's like...
Silent Hill starts exactly like Phantom starts.
Mm-hmm.
That's what makes it fucking gret.
Basically, we should give the full plot synopsis first before we get to the scene.
Okay.
It's these two girls and these cops, and they're in this town, and they don't know what the hell's going on because they can't find anybody. All they find are what things people have left behind. Things like jewelry and buttons and pacemakers.
Yeah. And one of them is like there's the cops, there's the girls, and one of them is like a doctor of some sort.
Yeah, she's a doctor. One of them's a doctor. One of them is just a chick. The cops are all, they're sheriffs, and there's the sheriff and three deputies.
Bryce Hammond.
And they're realizing very quickly something's not right here, right? Mm-hmm. Something's fucked up in this town.
Well, when they first encounter the cops like immediately turn around and point guns at them because there's nobody else in this town.
Yeah.
And they just barge in where the cops are. The cops they're on edge already. They're already on edge, right? The first time you meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Affleck looks awesome in a cowboy hat. Picture here, please. Thank you.
So they all get together and they realize something's wrong, and it's caused out of the four cops that are there, out of the four, the three deputies and the sheriff. One of them, who's played magnificently by Liev Schreiber, he's broken. this has fucked him up. So he's immediately he's just like, everything's funny. It's not funny.
We don't know if like this broke him, or if he was just a weird fucking pervert guy to begin with.
They kind of hint that he was already broken. This just brought it out of him.
Yeah.
So they as they're exploring, they find the name Timothy Flight, the ancient evil, is like written in blood or something on a mirror. Is it blood or is it Memorex?
It's blood.
No, I mean blood or lipstick.
I think it's blood.
Yeah. Is it live or is it Memorex? It's written on a mirror. So they contact the FBI and they're like, we don't know who Timothy Flight is. Somebody wrote this on a mirror. Shit's gone down in this town. And that's when the fucking government steps in. They're like, we're sending the fucking military. We're sending scientists. We're sending the FBI. We're sending this Timothy Flight guy. Like, they take it seriously. This is the only film, the only story where the U.S. government's like, an entire town disappeared? We're taking this seriously. Send the fucking cavalry. Like, they get Timothy Flight, who's played brilliantly by Peter O'Toole.
And he's pretty much the owner of Weekly World News.
Well, he's like one of the main writers. He's one of the main writers of Weekly World News. And, or no, it's not actually Weekly World News. It's Worldwide News.
Yeah, but it's Weekly
World News. Like, they even make a joke at one point, like, with the FBI agents, is like, do you guys really know where Elvis is? Because we've been looking for him.
The king's a slippery one.
Yeah, the king's a slippery one. That's such a great line. Anyway, while all this shit's going on, they begin to find out that this ancient evil is this being, this fucking Lovecraftian being, that is basically pure fucking petroleum oil with a conscience. That
the first time you see anything with it, though, it's that weird fucking moth creature.
Yeah, dude, you keep jumping ahead of me. We're gonna get to the moth creature. We're going to. I want to explain the overall arcing plot first. This thing, it's intelligent. It can learn from the things that it kills and eats. And
it can communicate through computers.
It can communicate through computers, communicate through phone, communicates through electricity, and this fucking Lovecraftian horror wants people to worship it as the devil. And that's fucking intense. Like, the whole fucking, like, it's just fucking killing people, but it's leaving people alive because it's like, I want you to spread the gospel. And it's like, wow, that's gnarly. The scene. With the thing of that fucking Audrey wants to talk about so bad. We've been dancing around. The scene is one of the early scenes in the film. They're back at the fucking sheriff's department. They're like, we've got to call in the FBI. I've got connections with the FBI. We got to get people out here because we don't know where all these people went. And obviously some of them have been disintegrated or have been killed. And
there's all kinds of weird shit going on. Yeah, because at this point they don't know.
They don't know
what is happening.
Timothy Flight isn't involved yet. They just know his name. Yeah. The phone rings, and it picks up the speakerphone all by itself, and you start hearing weird fucking noises. This is some very Silent Hill 4 shit with the weird noises, right? And the weird noises are taunting it, and then the power just goes out, and they're all like, "What the fuck?" And then you start hearing.
Who are you?
What was that?
From over here.
No, it's over here. The window. What?
And then a fucking gigantic moth just fucking crashes into the fucking
like-
building. And they all
It's
start
like a
shooting at it.
demon thing.
Oh my
Yeah,
god, it's
fucking
something
crazy.
out of Silent Hill. They were all fucking firing at this thing. They think they've killed it.
Even if help's coming, it's not gonna be till daybreak.
I wouldn't worry. Whatever it was won't be coming back in here.
Makes you so sure of that.
Well, for one thing, we probably just shot it about 30 times, Sheriff.
I mean, it's dead. And Liev Schreiber's just all like, oh, it's fucking dead. No, you're fucking dead. As this thing comes in and, like, eats his face. It eats his face. It sucks,
Wonderful.
sucks his fucking brains out through his sinus. It's fucking gnarly. It's the gnarliest fucking scene in the entire film. This fucking scene rules. It's fucking great. And after this, you get a scene later where Liev Schreiber just fucking shows up. He's like, hey, how you doing? You want to see something? He keeps saying that's his catchphrase. You want to see something? Which, every time you see Liev Schreiber after this, you know it's not Liev Schreiber because he's fucking dead. His character's fucking dead. So every time you see it, you're like, that's the fucking evil. Oh god, it's it's there.
And he
And
uses that. Then the evil uses that to his advantage as well, with both Liev Schreiber and the dog.
Oh,
right?
the
Like,
dog. You see the dog and you're like, you know that fucking dog's evil. He looks like
Yeah.
a good boy, but you know that fucking dog is evil.
I
You
still wanna
know that fucking dog is evil.
Still want to pet it. It's worth it.
I mean, if you pet it, you know it turns into a fucking Lovecraftian horror and eats your face.
Yeah,
Worth it.
worth it.
You can pet the dog in Phantoms. Oh, this fucking movie rules. And I hate the fact that this movie it's been downgraded to a fucking joke in a Jay and Silent Bob film. Fuck that shit. Phantoms is up there. Phantoms is one of the best films. It's definitely one of the best films of 1998. It's one of
the best film that Joe Chappelle ever directed, right? Because like he went from doing The Curse of fucking Michael Myers to Phantoms.
That
It's
movie-
the next movie he made. He made the worst movie of his career, and then immediately made the best movie of his career right after that. It's like, I don't know how he got this movie. I don't know why this movie is forgotten, and I don't know why he never went on to do really anything after this. Like, he's had like 4 movies, and they're all fucking throwaway films.
I do want to point out that he went on to have an amazing television career. He brought us such great shows as The Wire.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just,
and Fringe.
he directed like The Skulls too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, he started out in the shit, but and then went back to the shit. But this is definitely his best film. Television wise, definitely The Wire. He did that Twilight.
The Dark
He did that.
Story.
He did that Twilight Zone that we love making fun of so much with Forrest Whitaker. But he also did he did a couple of episodes of that. He was the executive producer on CSI, or he's a producer on CSI Miami, executive producer on The Wire. I mean, CSI Miami being the one that like everybody knows. He also did Fringe. And
So
Chicago
he
Fire.
made all those so all of those things that came in the wake of like 24. Essentially, he's had his hands in.
He did a lot of really good television, but and that's basically kind of where he, outside of Phantoms, it's kind of where he fucking had his wheelhouse, really. And even with Phantoms, like, thinking about it, like, Phantoms does feel like about 3 different episodes of a television show put together, but it's seamless.
I mean, it could have been a Stephen King miniseries style thing for sure.
Yeah.
Like I could see that being a thing, and I feel like they should probably do that more often with Dean Koontz. I mean, you get
Just
the dude
not with
needs
Demon
more-
Seed.
Yeah, do it with like Lost Souls or fucking.
I'm gonna watch Watchers because you said you fucking have pushed me to that film. You're like, you
Hell
need to
yeah,
watch
dude.
Watchers. Now the question is, do I watch Watchers 2 or Watchers?
I mean,
3?
it's also written by Dean Koontz.
Yeah, but you know how that goes.
Yeah, I would just say watch Watchers. It's Corey Haim, dude. It's fucking.
Just because it has Corey Haim doesn't.
1988.
Just because it has Corey Haim doesn't mean it's
Has
good.
Michael Ironside, man.
That okay, but just because it has Michael Ironside doesn't mean it's good either, and you know
It's a
that.
Carolico picture. It's a Carolico picture. All right, all of these things make sense on why it's good. All right, like
Killing me, Smalls.
you killing me, Smalls.
You know all of those factors don't make it. Yes. You could put all dude. You could put all of the best ingredients in this soup. You could put all the best ingredients in there. You can have some fucking. You go, oh man, we're gonna put in some fucking tomatoes. We're gonna have some fucking onions. We're gonna have the best fucking beef ever. We're gonna have tons of fucking garlic and salt and pepper and thyme, and we're gonna have the best fucking soup ever. This shit's gonna blow your mind. But if you take a dump in the fucking soup, it's still going to suck, okay? And that's what I'm saying. You have all these great elements.
Watchers is good.
Doesn't mean that it's gonna be that fucking great. Okay.
I never said it was great. I said Watchers is good.
I'm not that great. That good. That acceptable. Doesn't,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, wait,
I haven't heard.
We're 20 fucking minutes back already.
Hey,
all right.
Hey, listen. I want to point something out to you, okay? You hadn't seen Paperhouse. I introduced you to Paperhouse, and you liked it.
Yes.
I will watch Watchers. If you're introducing me to something, I'm sure I'm going to like it.
Dude, Watchers is good.
I'm
good.
not arguing with you because I haven't seen it. I can't argue with you yet. What I'm saying is that just because it's got fucking Corey Haim and Michael Ironside in it doesn't make it a good movie, okay?
I mean,
Especially
fair
Michael Ironside, all right? I've seen Starship Troopers.
That's a good movie. You don't like Starship Troopers? You don't like Starship Troopers?
Starship
What
Troopers.
the fuck?
Starship.
Alright, this I can understand.
Starship Troopers missed the mark.
You're a fucking mark. Let's continue.
That should have been a satirical film, and it wasn't.
It was. The entire thing is a satire. You're just taking it the wrong way.
Nah.
Yeah. Abso-fucking-lutely. Look, I digress. 22 minutes back. All right, 22. Let's go ahead and talk more about Phantoms. Because we haven't done a lot of that.
We've done a lot of talking about Phantoms.
Haven't done enough of that.
What else do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about how everyone needs to remember that this movie exists.
We already said that.
No, I want to stress.
I stress that a lot of people know Phantoms because of a throwaway gag line that was
A lot of them haven't seen it. That's the problem.
in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yeah.
And no, when they
And,
say
in Reboot.
yeah, I mean when they say Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, we're not kidding. He's fucking amazing in this film. There's a reason Ben Affleck became Batman, and Phantoms is the fucking reason. Seriously.
Yeah, well, it definitely wasn't fucking Daredevil. I'm actually checking right now because I think Daredevil is what he did after Phantoms, and that would make sense on why his fucking career got all weird for a little bit there.
I think he did Dogma after this.
I did Armageddon after this.
And it was okay in Armageddon. The problem with that movie was everything else.
Yeah, I mean that happens to some actors,
Michael
right? It's
Bay
like,
films.
yeah, it's like you were good in that movie, but you're good in everything that you're in, and that movie sucked, but you were the best part in it.
Yeah, the movie
Jeff
sucked.
Fahey. Jeff Fahey is one of those people, right?
You're really gonna bring him up right now?
He is one of those people that's good in everything that he's in, but he's in a lot of shit, so the movie can be bad. But you're like, Jeff Fahey was in it, like Michael Ironside. Like, yeah, that's a big thing. Or fucking, what's his goddamn name? From Pumpkinhead, in Alien.
Fuck. If you didn't, I'm picturing his face right now. Lance Hendrickson.
Lance Hendrickson. Yeah, Lance Hendrickson's
Yeah.
always good in everything he's in, but there's also terrible movies he's in, but at least he's in them, so there's a little bit of something worth watching. Look, I digress. Whenever we're talking about Phantoms, I think that Phantoms is a movie that everybody should watch. I feel like this movie is absolutely 100% a Scrubhouse film.
Oh yeah, no, this is definitely a Scrubhouse film. You have all the elements. It's action, it's horror, it's schlock. You got overacting Lee fucking Schreiber in this film. You got an amazing performance by Ben Affleck, and when the gore is there, it's fucking there. And
you got like this weird like Lovecraftian feel to everything, and you've got like terrible CGI at one point, but it makes sense because it's a petroleum monsters. So like,
you didn't bring this up, by the way, but I was almost right. Yeah, he did Armageddon, but then he did Dogma.
Yeah, it was like Armageddon, and then like what 200 cigarettes or some shit like that. Yeah,
I forgot he was in fucking Boiler Room. He is the best part of Boiler Room. He is absolutely the best part of Boiler Room. He has that fucking monologue he does in Boiler Room where he's just all like, you know, they say money doesn't buy happiness. Look at the smile on my fucking face.
Yeah, so see, I'm looking through his IMDb.
Goddamn Ben Affleck fucking rules.
My favorite Ben Affleck role, fucking Phantoms. Look, all I'm saying is that I give this film an A+, personally. I think Phantoms does everything right. I think that this is a movie that has been slept on. It's reduced to this weird throwaway joke like what you're saying. And in that situation, you should go back and watch it. If you haven't seen it, then do yourself a favor. You know, you might see some faces in there that you haven't seen in a while. Most people don't remember what Rose McGowan looks like nowadays. You know, like... It's a product of its time. I'll say that, but that time was a good time. It was fucking 1998. You know, 1998 was pretty good.
I just want to say I'm looking through here, right? And God, Phantoms wins out. These are all really good movies. Even Dogma is a really good fucking flick, and Phantoms does win out, honestly. Like, I like him in all of these other films, too. He's the best part of these fucking movies, bar none. Well, I mean, outside of Clerks, too, where he just has a cameo. But, you know, like, just to point this out, like, he was in Smokin' Aces. It was basically a cameo. Like, he died in the first 15 minutes. But he was in Smokin' Aces. He was pretty good in that movie. Boiler Room. He was great in fucking Boiler Room.
We don't even have to talk about Mallrats.
Yeah, Mallrats. He's fucking awesome. I want to point out, he was in Hollywoodland, and he played George Reeves. And I forgot about that. And Phantoms is still better.
Yep.
I mean, that's a good fucking movie. That's a good fucking movie, Hollywoodland.
I would love to see him in a Western. I need to see him in that situation, or like let's let him kind of. You can't really reprise that role from Phantoms because there's nothing to go on with that. But like, give me another character that's pretty much the same thing for him.
I'll give you a film. Actually, I'm going to say this out loud. I'm going to give you a film that basically is what you want. It's basically what you want. It's just not a cowboy movie. The Town.
I don't know.
That movie fucking ruled. Okay.
I totally just read that he's totally going to
The
be
Town?
in fucking Ghost Army, though. So that's going to be awesome.
The Town, right? Okay. You like Payday. We used to play Payday together.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Payday, except instead of the Payday gag, it's fucking Jeremy Renner and Ben Affleck just being fucking boss.
That
Like, there's a
sounds pretty
scene
good.
in that movie where they just beat the shit out of drug dealers for like 10 minutes. It fucking rules.
Yeah. No, I'll watch it.
And they
You
also
gotta
rob
something.
they rob a bank while dressed as nuns. It's fucking cool.
Rad. Ben Affleck is going to write and he's going to direct.
He's
and
directed a
star
bunch of
in
films already.
Ghost Army. And Ghost Army is that story about how the U.S. military, like, they made a fucking, they tricked a German army into thinking that they were outpost based when it was just mannequins, like props
Yeah.
and like inflatable tanks and shit.
I know
They're
that
making
story.
a movie about that, and it's starring Ben Affleck. So
Yeah.
that's something to keep a lookout for.
They made a
So-
They made a reference to that story. They made a reference to that story in at a great episode of Burn Notice, and fucking Bruce Campbell has a great line in that, and he's just all like, "Well, in order for us to do that, we would need the entire Normandy invasion force." He's like, "Yeah, all I have is a 9mm with 2 bullets. You got to sell it." I love
All right,
that.
well, we got to the point
we gotta rate this film. We gotta rate this film. A
I've already
fucking
given it
plus.
A plus.
A
definitely
fucking plus.
Scrubhouse.
Phantoms is probably gonna end up being one of our films of the year for sure. Not for sure. We still have several weeks to go, but it more than likely it'll end up being one of our films of the year. I really like this film. I think it's fantastic. The only downside to this movie, literally the only downside to this movie, and it's not even a downside. It's just the thing I don't like the most, is the soundtrack.
Yeah, it's a fine soundtrack.
The soundtrack
It does
is
what it needs to do.
It's boring, but it doesn't detract from the film. It's kind of exactly what the film needs to just be quiet and boring. I would have rather, personally, just had it be fucking bombastic and holy shit in your face, because I love those kind of soundtracks, but it would have taken something away from the film.
Yeah. All right. Well, with all that said, that pretty much brings us to a conclusion here.
Yeah.
So,
It's...
I mean, Scrubhouse Video Club says, if you like us, you'll like these.
Wait. Before you say
What?
that, it's my birthday today.
Okay. Do you want to say it?
No, I don't want to say it. What I want is, since it's my birthday, and we're going to have a link in the description below about this, one of our good friends and member of the video club who hangs out and watches movies with us and stuff, David, has been diagnosed with stage 4 liver cancer. So for my birthday, go to the GoFundMe in the description below, throw him a few bucks. Anything helps.
And
Please,
we will be.
Please help out David.
We
He's
will
awesome.
be in the near future selling some things to also help out with this.
Yes.
But
That fucking
Yeah.
print is awesome. I love it.
So it's going to go up for pre-order. It's probably not going to be up by the time that this is out. So
Yeah, this
look
will probably go
forward
up
to that
tonight.
for the next episode. And that situation is probably actually going to be our sponsor, to be honest. But we have everything is being set in motion. So we definitely say donate. Donate. And if you're uncomfortable with donating and not getting something out of it, besides the satisfaction knowing that you're helping save someone's fucking life, you fucking heartless bastard, then we'll sell you something. That's what it comes down to. Now, it's your birthday, so you're going to say it.
Hey, if you're like us, you'll like this. Is that
Check
it?
it out.
Check it
Yes.
out. Okay, check it out. All right. Hey, check this out. My sister just sent me a happy birthday message.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it took a second
Hey,
for it to
dude,
focus.
happy birthday. Hey, dude, thanks.
Yeah, my sister rules.